What's going on, guys? It's TracyVA. Just a warning for you. If you are a J. Cole hater, you might want to leave this video. But if you love J. Cole, and you are listening, of course, his podcast audio, and you are currently watching this video, you need to go ahead and stay, okay? Because we are celebrating my man's, all right? My man's done dropped the hottest album of the year, maybe his best work, maybe. And it's crazy because after I played the album, I was like, okay, this is really great. And I quoted a quote from my article. I said that it's probably his most experimental work. We thought KOD was experimental, but this album, The Fall Off, this album just might be his best work. Let me tell you guys, I am currently on a high. Like I just dropped my album. And that's just how it is with Cole. Uh, what when great things happen for him, it feels like it happens for his fans because we just love him that much. But yes, the fall off has dropped. I think it's 3 days later and everybody is talking about it. It is the talk of the world. And you know what? Tonight is actually Super Bowl night, and I really don't need for the Latino community. I'm half Latino myself, so I'm happy for the just looking on social media, and we can see him just going from town to town with with his fans, and it's just so heartwarming to see because we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. All right, so the fall off. How are we feeling? Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. So, like I said about this album, I want to show you guys the article that I did. Let me pull it up. So, in my article, I break down my thoughts on the my thoughts on the fall off. So, like I said, the first listen, I was like, "Oh hell no. 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 No." But then I went to sleep and then I was like, "You know what? Let me listen to it again, but this time let me take a walk. Let me put on my Beats by Dr. Dre headphones. Let me take a walk and listen again." Y'all, the second listen was absolutely not like the first listen. And I really want, to um really tell people that and remind people that when it comes to listening to a new album, especially when it's highly anticipated, your emotions are already so high and your ears are already so alert and excited. So it's not always going to hit on the first listen, especially, New Music Friday. The music comes out at midnight. And a lot of us, especially these days, we are tired. It's not like how we were when we were younger. Um we are tired. I'm 31 and I've been a fan of Cole since I was like what 15, 15, 14. So it's not like how it was before. We are really tired. So, you know, go to sleep, take a nap, and go listen to it again. But that's what I did. I listened to it first thing in the morning. It didn't sound anything like the first listen. So, with that, um, every single song of the album, I did not skip one. And after I finished the whole listening experience, I was like, there's no song on here that is even worth being skipped. All of the songs were amazing. All of the songs were amazing. Let's talk about. Let's go ahead and open this up. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my favorites. Let me share my screen. Okay. I'm gonna show it like yeah, I'm gonna show it like this. Okay, so this is the article I released a day after the fall off dropped. My honest raw thoughts on J. Cole's The Fall Off. I want to go ahead and go down here and show you guys the best songs. So I said right here, my favorite tracks are Safety, 2 6, Run a Train, Poor Thing, 39 Intro, The Fall Off is Inevitable, Old Dog, Life Sentence, Man Up Above, I Love Her Again, Only You, What If, and Quick Stop. And I said this is a long list, but it is no exaggeration. Like I said, you guys, that was a very long list, and that was not me. Like how they say on social media, you're just overly riding the wave. That was not an exaggeration. Okay, if you listen to the album, all of those songs are flames. Whew. Like every single day since the album release, it's been a song stuck in my head. I haven't had a song stuck in my head since what? Since I was a kid. Like that's how good these songs are. Um today I have Life Sentence stuck in my head. Like the beat, I have the vocals like yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it stuck in my head. And like the way Cole is channeling DMX, like that's the tone is stuck in my head. Yesterday I had Poor Thing stuck in my head. Thing, like that the melody it's stuck in my head. And I think the day before that, um I didn't have a song stuck in my head, but I was thinking a lot about um What If and Quick Stop. Those two songs were heavy on my mind because just like wow. Wow, wow. Do we need to get into the meat and potatoes of it? I don't know. I don't know. We just might. We just might. So let me go ahead and transition over to some notes I've taken before I wanted to click play on my podcast. By the way, if you are listening on Substack, please hit that follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. My name is TracyVA, by the way, if you are new here. And this is not a game. This is not a game. It's not a game, okay? This I am really a J. Cole fan. For real. For real. Like right here, right next to me, this is a J. Cole poster, like I said in my last episode. And right behind me, let me move my chair a little bit. That's a graduation cap you guys can see. I have J. Cole painted on my college graduation cap. That just symbolizes things on its own. J. Cole's music has carried me throughout my life, throughout my teenage years, throughout my 20s, and even up until now, and probably forever. Cole's music is not only the soundtrack to my life, but it has been the medicine for a lot of things. Let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of that. Why not? Always feeling like you were often overlooked, feeling like the underdog, always feeling lost, career wise, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Um, I have faith tattooed in my hand, keeping faith, staying focused on God and his purpose for you. What else? Having a father that is not absent, but emotionally and like mentally and all the other things absent. Like he's here in the room with you, but just absent. Having a mother you love down, having a sibling you love down, navigating America as a black person, even a mixed person, falling in love and being torn between career, love, and all these other things. Hi, Chicago. Being a mother, okay? Hey, girl. I love you too. I love you too. Yeah, being a mother, and still you could take the brush. You could take it. Okay, go on out there and go brush your hair. My daughter now is like putting the brush through her hair. Okay, we just gonna let her stay here. Well, you let me know when you want to leave. I'm gonna close this door, okay? But yes, being a parent and wanting all of these things of life or the American dream, but also wanting your own dream and not falling for the demons that possess the music industry and life in itself. Now she's trying to leave. Okay. Y'all, these kids know how to open doorknobs. She's only one. That's insane. Girl, you can go. Okay. But let me go ahead and just talk about that, close that out. But yes, I'm actually a Cole fan. So if you are a J. Cole fan, you are in a safe space. Somebody asked me today what is my favorite Cole project, and I can't even answer that because it changes. I remember at one point, like I remember after KOD dropped, I was like, I do not think that this is Cole's best work. This is kind of like gonna be like a memory kind of thing. But as I got older, I started to love KOD because the purpose of KOD is to basically motivate um people and free them from the chains of drug addiction. And yeah, the whole album is above to me like a therapy session. It's above that. He uses like different mechanics of music to heal. I've never been somebody that has been on drugs, but I know people. And besides that, even if you are somebody that's never been on drugs, listening to KOD, it's still relatable. It's still relatable because drugs is not only drugs, like, or vices of our lives is not only drugs. You could have like you could have addictions to social media. He talks about that. You could have addictions to just negativity. You could have a sex addiction. You could have addictions to cheating. You could have addictions come in all types of shapes and forms, and we all have an addiction and um some type of addiction, and I feel like the album is relatable. And I noticed people been dragging KOD lately or on my threads timeline, and it's like I just keep responding like y'all have no idea, like this album don't mean something to you right now, but it could possibly mean something 10 years from now. But that's why Cole, to me, is the best rapper alive, because his music is evergreen. And I forgot who I got that word from, but ever since I learned it, I've been using it because it's so accurate. Like when you think of an evergreen tree, um the leaves don't fall, and it stays the same. It's just there, like it doesn't change. It is what it is. And that's Cole's music. As time goes on, generations could go on and time could go on, but Cole's music is still going to be special. Like if you're going through something later on in life, an album that came out from Cole from like 10 years ago could all of a sudden be your favorite album, like you just listened to it. No other artist is like that, okay? And I have to say that. No artist is like that. No other artist is like that, and that's why he's the best rapper alive. And I just had to go ahead and talk about KOD. So I want to one thing in my notes I said is, Cole, you have elevated, you really outdid yourself. I want to talk about why this might be Cole's best work, because just like KOD, KOD, he pushed himself. Cole's a rapidy rap ass man. Okay, he go cautious rap your ass off, and all sorts of things. He's inspired by the greats. All right, he's not like a mumble rapper out here and flexing about his chains, his money, and the bitches and hoes and who he effed around and slept with. Cole is a real rapper, okay? He's rapping of the times. He raps about politics. He raps about his life. He, uses music as his diary. He uses music to heal like a Tupac Shakur, Notorious B.I.G. That is who Cole is, all right? But there's been a lot of, chatter around Cole's name throughout the years. Of course, they know the people can't keep his name out their mouths. But they always just say like he doesn't push himself to at least like try new things, and here in this album he did that. He took mainstream, like what's going on with the mumble people and all that other shit. I like Travis Scott's music, but he pulled from like a Travis Scott. He pulled from a Future. He, pulled from a Kanye West. Like he pulled for like from like a lot of the mainstream artists. And the way he did that was, the beat switch ups and the over dramatics in the production, and like the flows or the aggression, like for trap. He channeled all of these things. And he's never done that before. KOD, he did it just a little bit, with the whole Kill Edward thing, but no, like it's like Cole became a yo, what is that? I'm about to look it up. No, let me use my phone. Hold on. What is that? And he became like a um I don't know. Is the word transformer? I don't know. What's that transformer or that character in that movie that it's like they have a magnet on them and they just start collecting a bunch of things and then they end up becoming everything that was connected to them. Like, and they just got bigger and greater and larger and more aggressive and stronger. That was called in this album, okay? It's like, oh, you've been loading the clip like that? Like that? Like for real? Like, talk about like the passion behind having that number one spot, like everybody wants to talk shit about what happened with the whole Drake thing. I don't want to talk about it no more because it really don't matter. It matters to everybody, but it don't matter to me. It don't matter to me. But talk about really his courage. Talk about, a lot of people would have been egotistical after that situation and, went on social media and said F everybody, F the world, or they'll take their album release or their new album and talk about, things like F the world, F the people, I don't care. Like he's so courageous and he's just so humble. He just let his God-given talent just take center stage and let people do whatever the fuck they want to do with that. And um he just bars and raps and passion and emotion and the production and um taking from 90s and early 2000s J-Lo, DMX, like P Pablo, like taking all these things, ludicrous fantasy, like channeling all of these things and making it his own. And he just, oh my God, I just get emotional talking about it or thinking about it. But he is just the best. Like he's just the greatest artist. He is We made the right person famous. We made the right person rich and famous. The right person. Yeah, the right person. Um and not only did he like not let anything hold him back and he just, just kept going and gave us amazing music, but he healed um the I feel like he healed hip hop's bloodline. When we talk about or think about our own families and like generational curses and stuff, and they have there's this saying that what your ancestors has gone through, it kind of bleeds into like who you are, like any traumas or anything like that. It's like Cole in this album became like the healer of the hip hop bloodline, and took all these classics and all these sounds and all these flows, and even in What If, when he's channeling Biggie and Pac, uh it was just so healing. It was just so healing. I'm a real hip hop fan, and I always just had to remind people that, because I know, one, I'm a woman, so I know like when people see me, they think like shit's cute. Ain't nothing cute over here. I might be a cute girl, okay? I might be a little cute, just a little bit, but ain't nothing cute here. When it comes to hip hop, it's like sports for me, okay? I'm screaming in the crowd. I get real aggressive. Like that's just how I am, and that's how I am behind Cole, and behind hip hop, and behind Biggie, and behind Pac, and um behind Kanye, behind Jay-Z, behind Nas. That's how I am, and that's where I come from. So, in What If, I caught myself crying, like for real, like, and I caught myself crying. I'm just like, cuz it just cuz really, what if? And I don't think people think about that enough. They talk about that Biggie and Pac situation, like, it was just something that happened, and shit got real crazy. Ooh, first off, fuck your bitch, and I fuck your wife. Like, what I'm saying? Like, it's just entertainment. But people don't think, what if we would have just, n- you know, what if we would have never egged that shit on? These two would still be here, and imagine what life would be like if these two were still here. And I know everything happens for a reason, so they say. I'm not the kind of person that gets stuck in the past. If something happened, it's like I try to see it as, like, just me being God fearing. It's like it happened for a reason. But I hate that two incredible, talented, blessed black men that were once friends were pulled apart and put against each other for a crown, for East Coast, West Coast, who was the best, egotistical shit, war industry shit, bullshit. Cause it be a lot of bullshit, and I find myself fighting with people on threads and stuff, and I try not to fight, but I guess I try to bring more like clarity. But a lot of people don't know what goes on behind closed doors of the industry. They think everything is just happens the way it happens. No, every seed is planted. Every seed is planted. And if you think of who is the head of the entertainment industry, or really any industry, okay, but the entertainment industry, which to me is the most powerful industry in the world, it's so powerful. Politicians want to be in our shit. And the reason why politicians want to be in our shit is because they know if they have music, they can control the world. So I don't want to get too deep on it, okay? But I could really go crazy on the topic if I wanted to. But everything is planted, okay? And if you really do your research and figure out who's ahead, you're gonna see white faces. You are going to see white faces. And Cole talks about this in his music, like his older mixtape stuff. He didn't blank, out there say it like, yeah, like he's never been like that, because, like I said, Cole is half black, half white. His mother is a white woman. So he's very humble, he's very graceful, and he's very understanding. But if you get into like the in between of Cole's mixtapes, he's kind of telling you like what he knows. And what he said is, one thing that stood out to me is, I don't remember what song it was, but he was saying that, you know, people don't want black people educated. They don't want us to be happy. They don't want them to, you could be successful, yeah, but we might put you against somebody, just to be like that, that monkey, in the center of the sidewalk, that little dancing monkey for the entertainment, um, while we are crying. Yeah, they might, they just might be laughing. And that whole Biggie and Pac story, it's deep. It's deep because it could have been avoided. And I'm so glad Cole brought this back to the surface because it's a very emotional situation. And Cole ties the whole album with putting it in our faces. And I love it. The message he put in our faces is, if I had to tie it up, we need to get out of our own way and we need to make a change. Pac even has a song called Changes. Okay? So you're not just hearing this from Cole, you're hearing this from Pac, and he's not here no more. I would listen. I would listen. All right. And we're all individuals, but we could all do our part in our communities. Just me as a journalist in my community. But the change that he said that we need to make is we gotta stop repeating this toxic cycle. And what this toxic cycle is us putting amazing black men or black artists against each other for entertainment. Y'all did it again. I'm not gonna say y'all, we, because we're all in this together, right? Um, like I said, I'm a God fearing woman, so in the Bible they're not saying y'all, they're saying we. Jesus said we. He didn't say y'all. So I'm gonna say we. We did it again with Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. We did it again. It did end in blood, not between them, but somebody did go down. Um, it could have ended in blood between them, and we all just want it for entertainment, right? Until it actually happens, and then our kids are crying. I know I cried when Pac died in '95. I was born '95. When I grew up and found out about him and Biggie, I cried because I'm like, what? So we're doing it again. Why can't why can't all the legends just coexist? Why can't we just be happy that black men succeeded and they found their hole for influence to influence people and influence the world? Like, why can't that just be enough? Like I said, J. Cole to me is the best rapper alive, but there's somebody out there that say Drake is the best rapper alive. Somebody out there that say Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper alive. I'm not gonna argue with them because I'm just happy that black men made it. And Kendrick and Cole, what they come from, Drake came from like a pretty, Degrassi and shit. But Kendrick and Cole, Kendrick came from Compton and Cole came from Fayetteville, North Carolina. And that's another thing I want to get into. Um, Somebody said that Cole only made this album for Fayetteville. I posted on my threads. Let me see if I could just even talk about it. Yeah, I'll just talk about it. But I posted on my threads. I responded to somebody's message saying that. And then I said that a lot of people don't know. I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, by the way. Um, a lot of people don't know Fayetteville, North Carolina is the embodiment of the United States. And what I meant by that is this one little town that don't have much, that don't got nothing going on. Like all they have is Cole and Petey Pablo. That's all they had. It's not like New York, Atlanta, and Los Angeles, rich on this, da 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 da. Nothing. Um, Honestly, I was just in Fayetteville, North Carolina a couple years ago, 2 years ago, and I was like, oh shit, they got a Walmart. Like it's like that. Like they just getting WalMarts now. They just getting malls and shit. Like it's like that. But when I say it's the embodiment of the United States, it's this small town, and it's a mixing pot because it is home of Um, United States Airborne. Let me look it up. Let me look it up. Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg. I want to be right when I say this. Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg is a U.S. Army military installation located in North Carolina. It ranks among the largest military bases in the world by population, with more than 52,000 military personnel. Um, so it doesn't really. It ranks amongst the largest. Let me look it up. Hold on. This is not the point. That's not the point I want to make. You know, that's special, but it's not the point I want to take. Mm. So several and special operations units of the United States Army are stationed at Fort Bragg, notably the 82nd Airborne Division, the 3rd Special Forces Group, and the Delta Force. So the point I want to make is this is a town of a mixing pot, right? And it's big shebang, like its trophy is airborne. You know, the soldiers that have to they jump out of airplanes like high up in the sky. They jump out of airplanes and they get medals and they move up ranks and um I have to say this in a cool tone because it is cool. I'm not the biggest fan of government and like military and stuff because I had to live that life and I had to move around a lot. So, it's sad, but to tie that up, that's all Fayetteville, North Carolina is known for. Fort Bragg, airborne, soldiers jumping out of planes, and then it's the big one of the biggest in the country, if not the biggest, one of the biggest in the country. So when you think about military families in the stations, and look at me, I'm a half black, half Spanish woman. My mother is from Panama, and moved here. So you got people that look like me, Asian, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just like black people, white people. Then if you do got, them, it's like it's not wealthy, it's like trailers, like Cole talks about. It it's pretty much I don't want to say dead, but if you know what I mean, like it's pretty boring. Okay, so when people said that Cole made that album for Fayetteville, maybe, but when I hear Cole talk about Fayetteville, I don't hear him talking about him just putting a city on us, although that's what he did. But I hear him kind of comparing it to like like an underdog, like how that little city is an underdog in the country, but it's actually special and important. It's an embodiment. And how Cole often feels like the underdog or the middle child. And Cole is music is for the people that are often overlooked, and they end up on top. Like that's how I see when Cole talks about Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I know he's people he is putting on his hometown, but I feel it's deeper than that. And that's why he goes so hard for Fayetteville. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts building music schools and puts a record label thing there. And it's deeper. It's not that he's just trying to be like the king of where he's from. It's no offense to Drake in Toronto, but it's not like he's like looking for statues and shit. Cole Cole's message throughout his entire career, it's been the same before he was even famous. Dreamville. And he's never came out about the meaning behind Dreamville, but he wants people to go after their dreams even when it seems like it's not likely. People from very small towns, him having to leave Fayetteville, North Carolina and go to college just so he can be in New York City on a scholarship. And look what he did for himself. That's what he wants people to get from his entire being. Like it's not a statue, it's not accolades. It's he wants to give people an opportunity. And that's I just wanted to go ahead and clear the air on that. What else do we have? We have that. Can we talk about Future being on the album? The features, just like I asked for. I mean, yes, there were features on there, but like I said, I didn't want no features. All right, I didn't want nothing. But he ended up putting maybe like 3 or 4, and they were very subtle, and I loved it. I loved it. The standout to me was Future. I did not know Future was on was on Run a Train. I did not know that was Future, man. I did not know. What the fuck? What the I thought it was Cole's voice distorted, just to sound like a little rugged like Future, but no, that was Future's voice. It took me a couple days to realize that. Like I knew he came after, but like I'm talking about like the um fuck do you know about my passion? Like what? Oh that oh that's the best song of the album to me. That's the best song. Cause fuck do you know about my passion? Who are you? I'm doing what I love and I'm getting paid for it. Okay. And that takes me into me silencing all the haters. I think I got like 700, maybe 1,000 likes on my threads with that post. Um, let me let me pull it up. I said Jake, I have 1,000 likes. Okay, 1,000 likes on my thread post. J. Cole has a net worth around $60 million. His own record label consistently sells out arenas, has a loyal fan base, can drop an album that will go platinum with no rollout strategy, has a whole city behind his back, and more. Do y'all really think this man gives a fuck what negative shit y'all gotta say about him? And everybody in the comments, well, a lot of people comment saying, of course he gives a fuck, like, okay, I didn't mean it like that, but I meant like it comes off like the haters want him to stop. You're not gonna stop nothing, okay? You could not stop what God planted, all right? You can't. You could probably stop Lil JJ, the rapper from around the block, but you cannot stop J. Cole, okay? That's a yes, that was the shot to a lot of rappers that come up, with the Lil name. And I liked a lot of the Lils, like Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, but I'm talking about the ones that pop and then like this not Cole's story, boo. It's not Cole's story. um, but yes, with Future, I want to say why he's my favorite. A lot of people don't, have the same, you know, music listening ear. We all have different music listening ears. But I'm a spiritual music listener. If y'all know my brand is a spiritual brand. Yes, I talk about music, but I tie music and spirituality together because I like to remind people that music is a spiritual experience. What I took from Future being on the album, I don't think like the average listener would take that as Cole grabbing a very important figure in hip hop and putting it on his album. I don't see it as that. Future, let me get deep. What if I told you that a lot of artists are popular not because of their music, but because their voice alone? Hey girl. Hey girl. Okay, yeah, you go back there. Um, yeah. So what if I told you that a lot of artists are popular because of their voice? And when I say that, I mean, girl. Hold on. Can you come get her, please? Okay, I'm back. So what I mean by that is, oh, so what I mean by that is, you know with like languages. So like languages, right? Do you have you ever heard somebody speak and they're speaking a language you don't understand, but you could still feel what they're saying? That's like how music is. Um that is so loud. But that's how like music is. So when it's the voice. Like above everything else, it's the voice. Future, spiritually, Cole has a voice. Spiritually, Drake has a voice. Spiritually, Kendrick Lamar has a voice. That's why when you hear certain rappers hum, remember when like Kid Cudi like would hum like on music and people were just like, I just love the humming. It's the it's the spirit behind it. Okay, it's certain voices do things to people's ears. Future, my idea of Future is Future has a voice and it has a hold on a lot of music fans. But it's not the words that he says, it's his voice is just, if you guys know what I mean, if you're Future fans, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But I don't see Cole using Future in his music because he wanted a Future feature. I think Cole wanted Future's voice to get to um that audience. And to me, you know, that might sound creepy to y'all, but to me, it's cool as shit. If Future today decided that he wanted to start picking up books and he wanted to start putting down drugs and whatever, people, and he did a song about it, he would change a whole lot of things going on in this world because he's Future. Um but let me know what y'all, if y'all know what I mean about that thought in the comments. Moving forward, I wanted to also talk about we got a lag. The ability of Cole making love songs. That's another reason why I feel like he's the best. He's able to make music that's relatable to women. Uh Kendrick, I don't really hear Kendrick making songs relatable to women, but Cole does, and he does it effortlessly. Um he just does an amazing job. I really want to give Cole his flowers on how he's able to make beautiful love songs. I didn't think that he could outdo himself with Power Trip, but I feel with Life Sentence, it's just as good. That song gives me chills. Just talking about it gives me chills. It just has this early 2000s feel, like walking down the city street in the fall and there's like people playing on the basketball court over there. Then you're just the girl walking with your baby fat jacket on, your big hoop earrings. That's what it was giving me. That's what it's giving me. And I loved it. Okay. I loved it. I also want to talk about uh just to move a little bit faster before I get into what's going on right now with these streets, okay? Which is legendary. We're gonna talk about it just a second. Coming up, I promise. Um, I want to talk about the most special song on the album, in my opinion, and that is um, "I Love Her Again." I love her again. A beautiful song about falling out of love with hip hop, but trying your best to love her again. And that's what Cole is doing. And I feel like this answers a lot of questions that we have. Like, is this Cole's last album? That song was, I'm crying. Okay. I'm crying listening to this song because if y'all been following me, I've been on here real dry because um I found myself having to transition because so a lot of, if y'all are new here, I'm a journalist, right? And I've been in music journalism for 10 years, writing about all sorts of music. And I've fallen out of love with hip hop journalism, to be specific, because I don't care to write about who's dating who's doing what, whose ass is fatter, who's more drugged out than who. I don't care about it. I want to talk about bars. I want to talk about who got the biggest tour, who got the best fans. Like, I don't want to talk about that. So, I pivoted, and I know God did it for a reason, because I feel a lot more home now. When it comes to hip hop, I talk about what I want to talk about. Besides that, I talk about spirituality. But I want to say this. Um, Cole, in that song alone, showed me how I have a whole lot more work to do when it comes to my my journey of life. And I've been heavy into stepping into my higher self. Like, that's what I've been talking about. And us as humans, we're never going to be perfect, but we could try our best. And I realized that Cole is so evolved as a human being. And I feel like that's why a lot of people don't like him, because they just don't understand. He's so evolved as a human being, and I sometimes it feels unreal. Um, but in this song, he really showed me that I got a whole lot of work to do, because with hip hop, I'm really pissed. Okay. I'm really pissed, and it's hard for me to love. But in this song, Cole is saying he understands. He understands. He's working to understand. He supports, and I just like, I'm over here like, I can't support. I can't do it. But Cole just shows like how evolved he is in that song. I'm like, damn, I got some more work to do. Because how do I get to a place? I had to ask myself when I've sung the song finished. How can I get to a place of not accepting things for what they are, but being able to say like I understand, you know. Um it was so hilarious hearing Cole talk about how hip hop done moved to the A. He was like, fuck. That part was so funny because I felt him. Because I'm one of the people, I come from like New York hip hop. Like, I come from that. I don't come from Atlanta hip hop. I love Atlanta hip hop. I do. When it comes to like Gucci and all right. So, with like Gucci and Future and all those things, like I appreciate that, but I mean, look what it turned out to be. You know, uh, yeah, but yeah, but I definitely felt him. It kind of grew its own legs, and like I mean, like he like personified it. It's like the girl. It's like watching a girl be like the most, the most like baddest, educated. She carries herself like she's just unreal, right? And then she's just like, you know what? I want to go be a whore. I want to go be a whore. I'm about to get this OnlyFans. I'm about to, pop my shit. Talk about how my booty bigger. Talk about how I get more niggas. I still don't think like that's sorry, but that's just how exactly how it is. And I was like, fuck too. So I really felt that in my soul. Okay. But Cole is a real one. Instead of talking shit and judging, he's just like, I understand. Mm, 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 mm. Let's talk the J. Cole hate train for just a split second. It's coming off real desperate. It's coming off like a call for help, a cry for help. I'm just ignoring it, but when I see it, I'm just like, part of me is just like, dang, like you real thirsty out here. You need some attention so bad, like so bad. Um, before I get into what's going on, last thing, the media. I'm very disappointed in um hip hop media. Very disappointed. I'm starting to see something I never seen before. But at the same time I'm kind of happy because usually when you see something you never seen before, that's like change is right around the corner. But I want to say something I noticed as a media personality, and I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but when I posted it, it did get a lot of traction. So I'm assuming that people did notice. They just haven't said anything. But we're seeing a lot of our biggest influencers. that get on a mic. I'm not gonna say any names, but that get on mics and that have podcasts or streams or whatever, and they're not saying much. And if they are saying something, it's a little sassy. It's a little sassy. The energy it's giving is kind of like that underdog in high school that gets the big award and everybody's just like, "Mm, it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be them. It was supposed to be. They didn't really do." Like it's giving like the most sassiest energy, and it's very sad to see. It's giving very much like false prophets energy, and I'm saying that I never looked at any of them as that, but like when somebody that you just expect so much out of just kind of shows that they're really not all that. Um but I mentioned on my threads that it's kind of interesting because when these people speak, usually it holds weight, but for some reason when they speak on Cole and I'm seeing these clips go around, it's like it's kind of like crickets. Like you see traction, you see, but it's like spiritually it's not holding any weight. Like I hear it, but it don't like really get into like my body. And I don't know what that's about. And it's a little weird. I've never experienced that before, but I don't know if it's cuz like Cole like has like this armor around him or if he's just that much of that guy to where he just makes people that are usually up here, he makes them look down here. And like I said, I think that's why people don't like Cole because he's great and he makes people realize I'm not that great of a person. I'm not that great. I might be popular. I might have some dollars, but I'm not that great. I got all this money. I got all these cars. I got all these women, but I'm still not as great as him. And it's just so cool to see in real time for me, because I'm always talking about spirituality. But I noticed the person that is actually wealthy, and when I say wealthy, like not just in the pockets, but spiritually wealthy and that has real influence, they hate that person. They hate that person. You know that person everybody loves, like musician wise in the industry, the person everybody loves? It's because that person makes them feel comfortable. But when it comes to somebody that don't make them feel comfortable, they're not gonna like that person. They're not gonna like that person. And that's who he is. And that's why he's ruffling so many feathers. People are so damn desperate to get a take that people agree with that they're not getting it. And it's like seems like there's this wall. But you know what that wall is? Yes, this is a rapper. Yes, this is an artist, but this is somebody that's got real influence. Okay. I'm talking about he's getting people to go to college and get a degree. He's getting people to want to get closer to their Bible, closer to their families, be a better man. Like, Cole got real influence. Okay. Real. And he don't need y'all. And additionally, the last thing I want to say, I have this idea that media don't like Cole. And I think they don't like Cole because he don't play their games. Everybody wants the slice of the pie, and Cole clearly has the biggest pie. He clearly has the biggest pie. I feel like that's why he's never gotten a Grammy or any of the other accolades that we've always wanted from him as fans because he don't play them games. He's not gonna flip when you say flip. He's not gonna show up. He's not gonna come on your station. He's not going to do an interview. He's not going to give you a shout out. If you diss him, he's not gonna diss you back. He's not gonna put you in a diss record. He's not gonna give you what you're looking for. And people hate that person, and I love that person because yes, get the okay. Last one. I want to talk about this in the most non-emotional way possible. But Cole, the CDs, the trunk. I know you're not the only one that's ever done it, but seeing you do it, it just hits different. It hits different. Like, let's open it up. Let's just look. Let's just look. This man is going from city to city. Let's put up on the screen. If you're listening to the audio, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys what I'm seeing. So Cole is currently on a tour, but it's not the tour that we thought it was gonna be. We might still get that tour, but Cole is in his old Honda Civic. This man done got a new engine, filled the trunk with copies of the CD, the physical copies. He's with Eve and I forgot his other friend's name, and they are just driving up and down I-95. He might go to Atlanta next. I really hope he makes his way to Houston. I don't want to put this man in no danger, but Cole, if that little Honda Civic can make it to Houston, Texas, do it. Okay, we'll get you a new one. I'm sure you got other cars. Okay, but we can get you on a plane. We'll get you a plane ticket and go back to Carolina. But I need you to get to Houston, Texas, so I can be out there in the streets with you. Okay, but look at this. It's crazy. If you're listening on the audio,
You was good in school, why you hiding your intelligence? I remember you was getting A's, now you selling us. Playing hard for the white boy that can't tell a difference. Caught a lot of bodies in my closet, they got skeletons. Don't believe me, call your favorite rapper for the evidence. Bitch, you was good in school.
casually in this Honda Civic, like he had just dropped the biggest album in the world right now, and just getting all these big crowds. Let me look at this. Look at this. In the audio is Cole surrounded by this huge, large crowd of people in North Carolina. He's trying to calm them down. In Charlotte, North Carolina, that's where he was today. This is crazy. Let me pull up the video that I got on my shit because it's definitely how the game goes. Yes, y'all. Hella people. He's just standing up on top. Somebody jokingly said remain Christ. Crazy. The crowd is just so calm. And he's just signing everybody's CDs. But the coolest thing about it is how calm the crowd is, because that's how much love and respect they have for him. Usually um the the crowd would be like reckless and breaking things and screaming and fights, but they just want to see Cole. And they just want to get their CD signed. They're getting their shirts signed. They're getting dollar bills signed. And it's just so heartwarming because like it's just crazy to see him pull up and he just comes out the driver's seat like so regular shit. Like, man, you a superstar. And this could have went a whole nother way. Like, usually when rappers go on media runs, stop at the Breakfast Club, um they stop at the Breakfast Club, and they just do like the typical political stuff. But Cole said, I'm independent. I'm gonna do this shit my way. I'm gonna do it in the way that I feel it's meaningful. I want to go be with my people. I want to go be with my fans. I want to drive this route I used to drive because he used to go from Carolina to New York a lot to back and forth. But he said, I want to do it as a superstar now. I want to do it as a multimillionaire now. And to me, that is goals. And to see like how the people are reacting to him. You got people out there crying. You got people with their babies out there. You got people asking questions. You got people just emotional, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like this is insane. And I don't know how far he's gonna go with. He said he's going across the country. I don't want him to go across the country. No, come to Houston, but I don't want him to go across the country, like all the way to Cali. It's kind of dangerous, but Yeah, like that's just from a fan perspective. But I still want him to go on tour. I still do. And yeah, it's just too cool. So I had to go ahead and get out of here because we are approaching an hour in to the podcast. I want to say this. This is what I wrote on my threads. I said I love Cole so much. If he just said fuck it and just released mixtapes from here on out, I would respect that. He just wants to do what he loves. He doesn't care about the politics. His impact on my life has been such a blessing. So I'm just grateful. So that's just me saying that if he's not gonna go on tour, if he's not gonna do albums anymore, and if he just wants to do mixtapes, I will be okay with that. So let me know how you feel about that in the comments. At this point, I think we can all agree we just want Cole to be happy, healthy, and thriving in whatever way he feels, and that's just what it is. But the fall off is just might be Cole's best work, and I love the album. If you haven't gave it another chance, please give it another chance. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Um, and just leave it at that and go move on with your life. But for those that know how good of an album this is, like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I wonder what's in store next. I wonder if we're gonna get that tour. I wonder if he is gonna do an interview. I personally don't want him to because I don't feel like anybody after this, like from what I'm seeing, like what people are saying, I don't feel like anybody's worthy for even to give it getting an interview. Honestly, when it comes to Houston, Texas, I'm gonna bring my microphone and be like, try to get me questioning or whatever. Um, but that's just what it is. Oh, Cardi B hit the Super Bowl performance. Did I say that was gonna happen? But yeah. Anyways, y'all go listen to the fall off. Um, go listen to the fall off. And I don't think this is the last album. I don't think this is the end of Cole's music career at all. I think he's just, you know, I think he's just going to, figure some other things out. But let me know what y'all think of this video. Drop your favorite song from the fall off in the comment section. If you're listening on Substack, make sure you hit the follow button, leave a comment down below. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And make sure y'all share this, okay? Share this with your friends, share this to your socials. Let's go ahead and get this out there. Um, and yeah, thank you so much, Cole, for dropping this album. I hope you come to Houston, Texas. And regardless, it's a big W for us Dreamville fans out here. And that concludes today's episode. Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and see y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and see y'all in the next.